Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of my Fire Emblem Fates Lunatic Conquest low turn count playthrough. I'm joined with BlueSS, and we're going to bring you chapters 4 through 6. So let's just get right into chapter 4.
Alright, so chapter 4 gives you a different group of units to work with. Instead of Jacob and Guntra, we now have Rinka and Kaze, those enemies from chapter 2. Since we're now in Hoshido instead of Nor, Ryoma, Sakura, and Hinoka are also all allies on this map. So this map is a route objective, and there's a lot of terrain that the Dragon Vein removes.
Yep, so it's going to level a mountain, and we'll be able to kind of create a faster path through the map. We need to reach the top left corner because the faceless kind of gets stuck on the mountain, so we need to get there ASAP. Turn, Rinka was dropped forward because on this turn, after Kaze's plus movement pair up bonus, Rinka can move far enough where it allows Kaze to fight these faceless without Ryoma interrupting and stealing any kills. It is a bit early, and Kaze doesn't have much of an opportunity to fight very much, so we need to kind of maximize our EXP gain while we still can before Chapter 5 starts.
So Kaze attacks this faceless here to build up a dual guard for the next enemy phase because that other faceless is stronger than that faceless he attacked on player phase. Kaze gets HP and speed here, which is actually really important for next map.
Yep, so this next player phase, we're gonna level the mountain. Depending on your Corrin's level ups, this clear can be really different compared to the one that I'm doing. Since I wasn't really resetting for Corrin's level ups, I wasn't kind of concerned about anything. All I just wanted was 7 turn of this map. You can actually 5 turn this map depending on your Corrin's level ups and the amount of rigging that you're doing. For the 5 turn, you need to actually crit the boss, and I'm not going to be going for any of that. So we're going to settle for a 7 turn. The boss attacks Rinka, and this is actually really important because the boss has both Seal Strength and Seal Defense. These skills will actually debuff a character after kind of ending a round of combat with your opponent. So Rinka has minimal strength and defense, and she's pretty useless. By using the terrain and Kaze's move pair up, we actually just escape the range of the boss, and he has nobody to attack except Ryoma, so he's just gonna die. I gave up the experience, but at least we're moving forward.
One other thing to know about level ups is that in Lunatic mode, the level ups that a character will get are all set when they join, or rather the random numbers for each level up are set. In order to get core on those proper level ups, one will have to restart the whole run instead of just being able to start a chapter.
Yeah, and I'm not crazy enough to be resetting Corrin's level ups all the time, so we're gonna level the last Dragon Bane, and with that, Ryoma will be able to nuke the last faceless. Ended up making a mistake here where Corrin used an extra use of the Vulnerary, but because Kaze's health in Chapter 5 worked out, it didn't really matter. And that'll be Chapter 7 completed in...
Chapter 4 completed in 7 turns.
Okay, Blue with the save here. Alright, moving on to Chapter 5. So we're going to begin this next map kind of transforming into this Feral Dragon. So we're going to have increased stats across the board. But we're going to keep the same HP, and we're also joined by 2 more characters named Sakura and Azura.
Alright, so Azura is a songstress, which means she can use the Sing command on a unit that's already moved to allow them to move again, which is obviously very useful, allowing them to perform 2 actions and just move farther or something. Sakura is a healer. Her personal skill reduces the damage that allies within 2 spaces receive by 2 staff. That's actually really important here because it allows Kaze to survive this enemy phase, because otherwise he would die. As you can see, he just barely survives.
It's also important to note that this mage needed to move either 2 down or 1 down right from Kaze, because if he was kind of too far up, he wouldn't be able to kind of reach this next position he needs to get into for this next enemy phase. So we're gonna kind of heal up Kaze as much as we can, but we also need to kill these enemies. But what's most important is we need to chip all of these enemies, and because of Sakura's aura, we're actually capable of surviving this enemy phase. All of these enemies are actually pretty threatening, and Rinka is almost useless. She's kind of stuck behind Kaze as a parapod because she gives +4 strength, which is actually really necessary in kind of weakening this mage, all these mages.
I mean, that +2 defense is also necessary for surviving that first enemy phase.
Yeah. So we're gonna injure that center mage, which is actually really important for this upcoming player phase.
So Zera's gonna refresh Corrin after she kills this dark mage, and then Corrin will attack another dark mage, and in a position to take on a mercenary next turn. These mercenaries have worm slayers, which means they do effective damage on Corrin, so that's actually really dangerous.
Yep, on the previous turn, Azura's personal skill, it kind of heals allies in range by 10%, which is actually very minimal and not very important, but it's kind of funny that +2 HP from Azura's personal was enough for Corrin to survive that Worm Slayer attack. So, because Ryoma's still alive, we can actually go and finish off the boss for him. It's actually kind of pretty much a coin flip on each enemy phase whether Ryoma dies or not, because he's always 2-hit KO'd and he faces a decent chance at dying, and it's really important that he does survive for this clear. So the remaining enemies are kind of just going to be cleaned up by Kaze and Ryoma. We needed to rely more on Kaze than Corrin on this map, despite Corrin's beefed up stats. Mostly just because Kaze attacks at 1 to 2 range and he can fight these mages back. Corrin can't, so she's pretty much just the boss killer. Now that the boss is dead, Ryoma's free to move around, and he's actually quite helpful for taking out these dark mage reinforcements that spawn on turn 2. It's kind of funny that the Iron Shuriken debuff reduces the dark mage's magic stat, and it's actually enough for Kaze to survive on this final enemy phase. I made a mistake where I should have had Azura refresh Corrin for a little bit more experience and support points, but it's so minimal, I don't think it really matters. But anyways, that's Chapter 5, completed in 5 turns. Alright, so before we start Chapter 6, we're gonna get 2 items. The Yato and the Dragonstone. These are kind of locked to Corrin, basically, for the most part. And they're situational. Yato's kind of just a sword, and the Dragonstone is a bit of a unique weapon, but with that, we'll move on to Chapter 6.
Anyway, this is where we make the big decision, i.e. pretty much the only decision in this game, where we choose to side with Nor, because it's the Conquest LTC. In this map, we get the 4 Norian Royals, who don't gain EXP in this map. Only Corrin and Jacob get EXP, speaking of which Jacob is back. In this map, we face off against the 4 Hoshin Royals and Yukimura, and have to defeat 4 of them in order to clear the map.
Yep, so because all the Norian Royals are all mounted, they have quite a bit of movement, so I have a bit of freedom on this first turn to set up. So we're going to bait 2 of them into attacking on enemy phase. Ryoma's kind of just this badass, and we can't really hurt him reliably, so we're just going to ignore him for the most part. Leo and Takumi deal a bunch of damage to each other, so just going to have them fight here.
You say that as Leo dodges the attack?
Exactly. I got a couple unnecessary dodges on this map, but oh well. So Corrin and Jacob get some kills. Xander exactly one-shots Hinoka.
And Leo exactly Oko Sakura.
The plus move from
And she does not understand why.
the plus.
Why would you kill off poor staff?
So with that, that's chapter 6 in 2 turns. We're gonna get access to my castle here, and with that, we'll see you next time for chapter 7.
Bye.